What's going on, everybody? I'm Alone. Welcome to the club. If you'd like to be featured on this style of content, then please leave a comment telling me how you felt about Dokkan Battle in 2024. This can be positive, negative, the good, the bad, about character selection, about EZA strength, anything you can imagine, no matter how early or late in the year. What is your review? If we get another handful of these comments, I'll do a part 2 talking about them, and be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Let's go. First one up, we got Captain Antilles. The characters have probably been the best ever, with the Broly team being the most fun I've had with a team since LR Cooler's team. The only thing holding back this year from being one of Dokkan's best is the lack of hard content. Overall solid year, and I'm hyped and ready for 10th anniversary. I think this is a great summation of the year and how I think Dokkan really had a comeback year in 2024, because I remember playing throughout 2023 and feeling that sensation of like, oh, it's all new, it's all fun, everything feels so shiny, and all the characters are so cool. I love the animations. Things like that can really preserve your image of a game going into the long term. I would say that for the most part, for a very long time, my view on Dokkan was extremely positive compared to the average, community member on Twitter, in the YouTube comments, etc. That said, have come to kind of find more of the underlying flaws with the game, some of the systems that I think need touching up, some of the advancements in modernizing that Dokkan could do with. That said, if I was going to be fair, if I was going to be my fairest self, I'd say Dokkan in 2024 has done a great job in showing us that they do want to keep this IP going. The reason I don't really spend money on gacha is, even though Dokkan's on its 10th year now, it's so rare that's the case, and it's so rare, unless you're playing like Summoners Wars, you know what I mean? It's so rare that something prevails in the gacha space for this long, because once they're done making money, once the money doesn't flow like it used to, they get out of here. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's becoming harder and harder to break into new IPs. Like, I'm not the biggest JJK fan, but I decided to try out Phantom Parade because it looked pretty fun. I like the animation style. But that game has had a terrible global launch, you know what I mean? And even as someone who has played every day since its launch, you can see so many glaring flaws with the dev side of things that you would... This is one of the funniest things I've seen from Phantom Parade. People in the Phantom Parade community had started saying that the global sync was handled so well in Dokkan, and that they needed to take tips from Dokkan Battle synchronizing the games. And if you were here for the sync, you wouldn't fucking believe that statement, because the sync was handled so fucking poorly. But it really does make me sort of thankful that at least in this year, Dokkan has seemed intent on putting their best foot forward. If that's not from selection, then it's to EZAs, then it's to overall character strength. But there is one thing that Dokkan has sort of slipped on, and we'll get into that in the next one, I think. So from HateZom here, they say that the 9th anniversary had amazing unit selection and kit. And I'm going to stop there just to say that I agree with this. I think Beast Gohan was the right selection. I say all the time, I promise that if I say that I'm not the biggest fan of Beast Gohan, all it means is that I'm just kind of middling on him. I think he's okay. I don't think like he's the worst, or I hate him, or I like feel ire. I'm just like, he's all right. I wanted Beast Gohan from this year, you know what I mean? Like, he's super strong. I would have loved that, but I just didn't get him. I think it was a good time to bring the Gammas out. I think Broly being the first extreme unit in a very, very long time to feature on an anniversary was the right call. Broly is a Saiyan, obviously. He's the right time to make this distinction and make an extreme unit an anniversary unit, right? If there's one thing I could say, even though I love the Gammas, it's that their slot felt the most unnecessary, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just that they kept buffing superheroes. If you pulled for the Gammas, you got like a very small window between them releasing and them being actually like needed on their team and just flat out replaced, right? And obviously not everyone's a whale, so that's not going to happen to everyone. But it does feel sort of bad that like Gogeta was always useful. Broly was kind of useful after his like initial release because of domains, but he then came back in a big way. Beast Gohan is Beast Gohan, and then the Gammas were just kind of left as like you could run them, but they're just a death condition. Like they could die, and a lot of the other superheroes units really fucking couldn't. Great animations, great execution on the character. It just felt kind of bad that they were in that spot, I think. As the year went on, we saw more of that like 2024 character selection that was like has been indicative of the great choices they've made, but they definitely front-loaded superheroes in a probably a little bit negative way, right? They continue to say, every premium unit to come out this year can be run in difficult content and they can contribute to the team. Hell, even free-to-play units were mostly pretty good this year as well. The only thing scaring me going to 2025 is how power creep will take part in the 10th anniversary. I'm hoping they wouldn't completely invalidate all the units that came out this year, and this is a great topic. This is a great topic, rather. So first off, free-to-play. If there's one thing I would say about free-to-play is that I am tired of them dedicating a bunch of time to free-to-play characters animation-wise that will sort of age out. I would kind of like to see what they do with the Z Warrior cast, the renewed greatest of the warriors or whatever it's called, Goku. His cast of characters that are all new are using reused animations, but sort of cleaned up to be their own thing, and I like that. I think it would be really cool to get more free-to-play characters that just borrow animations to make their own thing, rather than dedicate all this time to characters that people aren't going to really use, because a new player getting into the game isn't going to see free-to-play TN and go, damn, I'm glad he's free-to-play. They're going to see him and go, why'd they use this here? Now I don't use this character anymore. It very much feels rewarding in the moment to be like, wow, what a cool Dr. Wheelo animation. And then you think about it and it's like, when the fuck are we getting Dr. Wheelo again? You know what I mean? And maybe this is their way of sort of splitting up the load when it comes to not wanting these characters to be Dokkan Fest. But the reality of the situation is, if you're going to use all that development time on great Dr. Wheelo animations and then not make him strong enough, then what are we really doing when we get to like the Bluesians and base Vegeta or base Blue Vegeta and Blue Goku have kind of middling or even bad animations, and it's like, well, why'd you spend all this time on Dr. Wheelo, right? And you might be thinking that's a 2023 example. I got a 2024 example for you. I think the Brolys, both of them, could have had a little bit more slapped on to some of their super attacks. Broly is a big rampaging berserker. Why did Goku, Trunks, and Gohan, as well as Family Kamehameha Gohan, why do their supers feel more explosive and dynamic and like frightening and like this barrage, when Broly's whole thing is that he's this unstoppable like mass of power? That time could have, the time they spent on Grandpa Gohan, who is a free-to-play World Tournament unit, I have literally never used that character. Why did they not just spend it on working on these premium units that they know I'm going to pull for because the worldwide download celebration? That's my big gripe with free-to-play right now, is that a lot of these characters, while good for Dokkan, they're not really good by modern gacha standards. If you look at characters like Dr. Ratio in Honkai Star Rail, many characters in Epic 7, etc. So I've done this many times. Those characters are good by like anniversary and worldwide standards. Those characters aren't just good by free-to-play standards. I'd like to see more of that from Dokkan if they're going to continue to do this, rather than wasting resources when I just want my like good characters to look better, right? I will say that the power creep note is going to come. I think 10 year, and it's the reason I've been saying, please save your stones. Please do not fall for Namek Vegeta. Please do not fall for Go Piccolo. Please don't spend. Because I think the 10th year could be the biggest power gap in Dokkan we've ever seen. I mean, they're literally refreshing the battle animations. Look at what they're doing. I can't say that I can confirm this. I don't have insider information or anything. But we're seeing them dedicate so much excessive time to bringing players in. And what looks better to a new player than just telling them, hey, you didn't miss anything. Those 10 years, they didn't even matter that much. You can pull on Super Vegito and Super Gogeta, and they'll beat everything in the game. They're the strongest characters we've ever made. You know what I'm saying? Things like that incentivize new players to get into your game, rather than just being like, this character's good if you also took Beast Gohan from last year, or this character's good if you also have the Gammas from last year. You think they're gonna do that? No. I mean, just look at Glorio and Daima Goku. People are saying that like Glorio can't be the best unit in the game, or he can't be even a good unit, or he's not even top 10 or top 15 or blah blah blah. And it's mostly because he's Glorio. But like, you look at that character and you say, holy shit, the power creep is already happening. It's happening in a big way. We just got Gotenks. We just got Gotenks, and we've got the Truth sitting here saying Glorio might be the best character in the entire game. And while I don't fall on that logic, I don't know if I could go as far as to call him the best. Look at how quickly that happened. A TUR. And I've said all year, TURs feel like they're a step behind LRs. And look at Glorio, you know what I mean? So please be saving. Just please be saving. And last but not least, we have 44,000 saying it has been the best year for the game by far in terms of content and unit quality. Most I've enjoyed the game in my 4 years of playing. Unfortunately, still far from perfect, mostly because of the sync being unacceptably bad and how it was handled. And I mean, this is a thumbs up, you know what I mean? The sync, as we all know, was pretty abysmal. I think that there was a period of time where the sync was so bad and everyone was complaining so much that we actually had the reverse thing happen where people were like, oh, it's not that bad. And it's like, no, this is pretty bad. This is the most incompetent I think I've seen the dev team be. And I was here for all of 2023 seeing those characters be released. You know, we were here for Fizz Turles. But that was the most incompetent I'd seen them be. And I don't even think it's particularly close, especially because the sync is not that hard to plot out. I mean, we had people in this community planning how they could easily speed up content and be ready for the 9th anniversary. But instead, we still had an 8-month dead period where we just waited for the 9th anniversary here on Global. It was super weird. With all that said, though, I think that they did recover. This is inarguably the best year in Japan's Dokkan Battle history. I don't know if you could say the same for Global. Maybe you could. You know what I mean? Maybe you could. If you really, really wanted to erase those like 6 to 7 months and just say, this doesn't really matter because once we're synced is when we start, I guess you could say it was the best year for Global as well. But I'm sure someone who was around for Global Dokkan longer could come up with a year that was much more fulfilling, right? It's not really that close. And I'm going to leave this off with my own gripe. I'm going to say that the biggest gripe for me this year has been the content. Yes. I know the previous take just said that in terms of content and unit quality, it's been really high. I think the content quality has been pretty high, but the worldwide download celebration being such a flop in terms of its content really sticks out to me because it's the second biggest celebration of the year. So just fumbling that section of content is really important. I think it is. I think it matters a lot more than them fumbling like a random Majin Buu red zone, right? The Majin Buu red zone was fine, but yeah, the worldwide download celebration having essentially nothing to do, or I guess having things to do, but everything to do was just kind of boring. I think that does matter because Global did not have the Goku and Frieza fight, and that counts. So I've been Lone. Subscribe to join the club. Like if you liked the video. We all gonna make it. Peace.